darkness and silence through the night.
Okay, there we go. We are starting MGS3 today, and one thing that I'm noticing right off the bat, and I don't remember if the original game was like this or not, no audio options to adjust. So I don't know what the levels are going to sound like. I recently watched back the MGS2 playthrough and saw that I was completely drowned out by the cutscenes towards the end of that game. So we're going to try to not make that happen again. By the way, I have a different dog with me today, and she actually likes being on camera. It's my sister-in-law's dog, Abby. So say hello, Abby. Hello, Abby. Good girl. And she's very sweet. So she's going to be here as well to get in the way. Let's see. Can I adjust my audio options from here? What options do I have? Not from that one. Let's try this menu. Bear with me here if you are here for the setup. Let's see. I have sound up, but yeah, it's not letting me... It does not let me adjust the audio bounce. Uh-oh. Went back too far. That's okay. So yeah, we'll just try to wing it. And if I need to adjust this in post for the YouTube version, I can try to do that. Now, what do we want to do here? I do like MGS2 the best. Should we do the MGS2 opening? I think we should. We'll do that. And now, this is something I have been debating for a while now. I remember I was never as good at MGS3 as I was at MGS1 and 2, which if you watch those playthroughs, that ain't very good. But especially now that I'm not good at those games, I'm probably even worse at this one. However, I think for entertainment purposes, hard might be the way to go. I think we should just start hard mode, because I think that'll be a lot more fun. Yeah, you know what? I'm committing to it. Oh, and I forgot you just go right into it.
World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
I remember when the first English dub trailer came out, that's how it opened, and we were all super excited because we didn't know if David Hayter would be back to voice Snake or not this time. And it was so dope that he was. I feel like this is probably very loud. I don't know if I'm going to clip if I move this any closer, but I will try to adjust my level just a little bit. Not that you want to hear me, you want to hear the game, I'm sure. See what this sounds like in post, and we can always fix it next time. This is very loud, actually.
Flying over Pakistan, altitude 30,000 feet.
Will it pause the cutscene if I go to adjust this? It does not, but oh well, I can do this at the same time. Sound.
All right, you ready to go? Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
We'll try that. That sounds better to me. I don't know if it changed anything for you guys, but in my headphones it sounds much better. Man, Snake's so cool.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector.
Yeah, don't smoke your cigar in a low oxygen environment, Snake. Not very cool. I mean, Raiden? If you've never played MGS2 before, this is probably going to seem really dumb. MGS3, I should say.
Approaching release point. 10 minutes to drop off. Hey,
man, Duke doesn't do anything cool. I don't even know what Duke's here for, because clearly he looks like he's going to be jumping out of the plane, too. He's got all his gear on and everything. By the way, look closely at Snake's mask, because it says something really dumb on it.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear
Right there above the eyes. U.S. Army Metal Gear Solid, it says below it. I don't think Radioactive Man will wear a shirt with his own face on it.
Sunrise.
That wasn't as clear before it was in HD. You couldn't read that as well, but you could still totally read it in the old game.
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius.
God, the music in this game.
Stand up.
We're probably going to play for a few hours today, I think. This is a hard game to put down once it starts.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate bailout model.
This is one for the history books. The world's
First Halo jump. High altitude, low
10 seconds to
oxygen
drop off.
jump.
Stand by.
I don't know if this would have literally been the first Halo jump, since it takes place in 1964. But I'll go with it. I believe Kojima's version of history. God be with you. Go advertise Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater to everybody down there in the jungle. With your mask. Stop. Kojima time. He needs to make sure you know. It's so
Jack, I've
important.
got some important news. The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission.
No, you
The future of our
idiot.
Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of...
Snake's dad also asks a lot of questions.
Don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well,
I have to adjust that audio again for myself.
about
1
2
second.
years ago,
I'm still listening, y'all.
a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles.
I think that sounds better.
His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the
Sokolov's a cool
OK-754
guy.
Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top secret weapons.
It's a really
research
evil-looking
facilities.
picture of him.
And
He looks
he's
like a
the foremost
supervillain.
expert on weapons development.
He looks like the Penguin.
Sokolov. Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned
Sokolov, you
spaceflight
should grow a
in
skullet.
history.
That would look real good with your mustache.
But there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin to orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to
Yeah,
be
they didn't
the
understand
most
radiation
responsible
levels very well back then.
multi-engine cluster used in that
It didn't end super well for him.
After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story. So
Snake's so
what's wrong with
judgmental.
It
What a
seems he'd
lowly
become afraid of his own
technician.
creations.
that? Afraid.
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
What a
Not
piece of
exactly.
shit.
One of his conditions was that his family
I'll
was
never do
also
that.
taken safely to the west. He used a mole to get the family out first and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West
He needed a Gatorade.
It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
God, this footage was so expensive for Konami. I'm glad I'm allowed to show it.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range...
For those that don't know, this footage is the reason why these games disappeared for so long, because they didn't want to pay licensing fees.
Remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from
So
reaching
better enjoy it.
But the Soviets
Konami's
backed
footing the
down,
bill,
instead
folks.
placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's...
If anybody turns on the stream right now, it just looks like we're watching historical footage.
The hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba. So the
Sweetheart, I
world
love
avoided
you.
a nuclear holocaust.
Good dog.
But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the U.S. agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter
No.
IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete.
What are you talking about?
We're going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse.
It's probably a bad thing I learned most of what I know about American history from this video game
So what do
series,
the Russians really want?
but I choose to believe it's all accurate.
They wanted us to return Sokolov.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
Oh man, something
At the
cool.
time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either
Nobody
give up
else can
Sokolov
design a
or risk
giant car that
full-scale
shoots
nuclear
missiles.
war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handed him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight.
Good job, Zero. Now we gotta do it again.
Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Mole, 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 mole.
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
Close
I
enough.
guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the
You had to let
Soviets have
Snake
been
think he was
conducting
right about
frequent
something in this
nuclear tests
conversation.
with Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No, according to our intelligence, he's in Selino-Yarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there.
What do you even mean by that?
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon. But it's our best
Snake,
chance
what
to
you
get
should
it
be
back.
questioning right now is why the
This would
fuck
never
are there
have been
jungles in
possible
Russia?
in the research facility.
That's the
This is
real
our
thing
last
that's weird
chance.
about all this.
Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us.
Meanwhile, that's a great way to break up like the exposition scenes. We don't want this to get too long-winded. Let's put a parachuting scene around it. We'll do a wraparound segment. Yeah, this game started the first-person view thing in cutscenes. However, it looks way cooler like this. So I'd rather not. This game looks really good for a PS2 game, by the way.
We'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking.
I remember this came out the same year as Devil May Cry 3, which probably means it was the best year for video
Once
games
we
ever.
confirm the rescue, Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point.
Yeah, it still looks cooler not in
Helium will
first
be pumped
person.
into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get real familiar with it by the 80s.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat Talon?
She's equipped with 2 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as 2 40.
This is all the kind of stuff we should have talked about before the mission.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong,
You'll be eating dinner, breakfast.
and all the rest of your meals in the jungle.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing some of that. I am so excited to be playing this game again. Even though MGS2 is my favorite, I will freely admit that MGS3 is the most fun. It's probably the best game in the series. I don't think anybody would really argue that, but 2 is my favorite game in the series, if that makes sense. There is a distinction between the two. Yeah. He also started the superhero landing. This is also one of those games that, like, the visuals improved dramatically between the trailers and release of the game. So I remember the first trailers for this game looking like shit. And then the game came out, and it looks fucking amazing. This game looks better than a lot of PS3 games. Even before the HDification. God. Show it. Show the stupid shit we put on your face. Fuck yeah, that's Snake. That's Jack right there. That's the face of a real man. Alright, it begins. So let's talk about the rules this time around. We are playing on hard mode. MGS2, we also played on hard mode, but with that one, we were doing a no-kill run. This time, I think this game has so much fun shit in it that I don't want to limit us to a no-kill run. Also, I'm a lot worse at this game than I meant to, so we are not going to do the no-kill run. We are just going to have fun with it and try to survive as best we can. I don't think... Oh yeah, there's a snake over here. I'm going to save this for later. Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I don't remember the point of coming over here, but let's get some food. Then we'll go looking for our backpack that got ripped off while we were falling. Gotta get prepared. That name... Oh, wait, that was the name of the snake I picked up that got cut off. That's fine. I thought that was a credit that got cut off by the camera.
Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory.
Also, the codec calls have these cool little options that tell you about the characters.
We'll be using code names to refer to each other.
1909, Jesus.
Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
Oh, you don't like snakes?
Yeah, it sounds cool.
What do you mean?
Just accept it.
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one at a restaurant, but...
Be careful.
I don't know. You sound like you like some of the ones we get this time around.
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom.
The ground control.
Oh, Snake.
Yeah,
The crew isn't watching anymore. You can take off the disguise now.
good idea. This isn't right.
See, we get extra content for liking MGS2 more. Kojima knows we're the real ones. Don't get this cutscene if you select the other options. Fuck yeah, get the cool little guitar strum. There was a brief moment, I remember actually... What are you doing? What are you doing? He looks like Bill Clinton looking at a bunch of balloons in the air. I remember actually being tricked by that, though, the Raiden fake out. I was like, did he actually do it again? Were all the trailers fake? And then that happened. So it was an anti-trickery.
This is Snake. Kept you waiting, huh?
This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must
You said
leave
the
no
thing.
trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procure on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Couldn't you have just given me, like, a Russian
Now
gun
I see
or
why
something
you
in
asked me
case
if I
I'm
liked
captured?
snakes.
Couldn't you give
I
me
suppose
something?
calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No. There's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the
Russia,
subject,
famous
how
for its
exactly
snake
am I supposed to
population.
feed myself?
You've been
That's
issued a
probably
nice
what'll
little
eat.
tranquilizer
There's
gun.
lots of those
Use
there.
them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go back and get it then.
We're already
You know
fucking
where
up.
it is?
No problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you.
Oh boy, will
You
you.
need to talk to me.
There's
use the
still
send
lots of codec calls in this game.
Okay, Snake. Go get your backpack.
Backpack. I remember buying a copy of, I think it was PlayStation Magazine, specifically so that I'd be able to play this game early, because it came with a demo disc for MGS3. It was all in Japanese, and it was cool as fuck. The thing I'm the most excited for with Delta, the remake, is that it looks like they actually added the crouch function from the DS game, which actually made the DS version better than this, because the fucking prone walking was so cool. So that makes the price of admission at least worth it for Delta. I hope it's okay. Here we go. Let's get this shit. Get that thick shit in you, boy. Man, my phone is blowing up. What's going on?
I see you
Not just in the game.
Your backpack, Snake. To equip a weapon, it's necessary to take
guilty
it out
gear
of
trailer.
your backpack.
Never mind. Not
In
important.
the survival viewer, choose weapon from the backpack. Your available weapons will be displayed in a window in the upper left. From that list, choose the weapon you want to equip and press the enter button. For other equipped items, just do the same thing from item.
Got it. Use the survival viewer backpack.
Yep.
It's never
that's
been
right.
so simple.
Survival is fundamental to this mission. After you've been out in the field for a while, your stamina will start to drop. If your stamina gets too low, it'll affect your performance. You won't be able to shoot accurately, for example, and your wounds won't heal as smoothly. Keep an eye on your stamina so you don't run out. To recover lost stamina, you can hunt for local flora and fauna. You can use either your tranquilizer gun or your knife to hunt.
My only weapon is a Mark 22 Hush Puppy tranquilizer gun.
Yeah, it was a weird
That's
choice.
right. It's been fitted with its own suppressor. However, the suppressor will deteriorate every time you fire.
God,
Once its
I love
durability
that.
reaches 0, the noise suppression effect will be gone.
And on hard mode, that really
Get
matters,
two
because it
trigger happy.
deteriorates pretty quickly, so you really have to choose when to use
shown
it.
in the icon. Any weapons and equipment beyond what you're carrying now, you'll have to find as you go.
I have to find my own weapons and equipment? Whose crazy idea was this anyway?
That is a good question.
Solo covert actions are standard Fox operating procedure. You can't leave any traces of your presence.
So
No
give me a
weapons,
Russian
equipment,
gun so they think it was one of
footprints,
theirs.
sweat, or bodily waste. The same goes for bullets and cartridges, too. Your presence in enemy territory is already a violation of international conventions of warfare. There aren't supposed to be any American soldiers in Russia. It could spark an international incident. You can't let anyone see you. You can't let the enemy know you're there. This is a stealth mission. You're a ghost, Snake, in every sense of the word.
Also a trailer line.
No rescue if you're captured. The military and U.S. government will deny any involvement in the affair.
Then I'll just have to take
Yeah,
care
we
of
don't know how he
myself,
got there.
I'm afraid
Weird.
so. You've been given a fake death pill for that purpose. SIS guidelines stipulate that soldiers on covert ops like this one be issued a potassium cyanide capsule. Tape it to your body so
Capsule.
you can take it when you need to.
How generous of you.
Use it if you're taken prisoner by the enemy. It'll send you into a state of false
Pardon me.
death for a short time.
Fooling them into thinking that I'm really dead. So, how do I come back to life?
Just take the revival pill.
You mean that thing they put in my
But
tooth
if I'm
before
already
mission?
simulating death, how do I
That's the
take
one.
my pill?
But be careful. If you remain in a state of false death for too long, nothing will be able to bring you back.
If you die in the game, you die for real.
I'll keep it in mind. You said this was a solo mission, right?
Right.
I guess that means I can't count on any reinforcements.
Yeah, so what was
Correct.
Duke doing in the
Mission
plane?
rests entirely in your hands.
A real one-man army.
Relax. There's a support team ready to back you up over the radio.
Who?
I'll introduce them to you. This time, survival is of utmost importance. The first member of the support team will be in charge of monitoring your physical condition, acting as a medic, so to speak, as well as recording your mission data. She's a member of Fox as well, and she's here on the gunship with me.
She.
Hello, Snake. I'm paramedic. Nice to meet you.
Hi, paramedic.
As in a medic who comes in by parachute.
Aren't you going to tell me your real name?
Are you going
Is that
to
like a
tell me
new
yours,
concept
Snake?
in 1964? 'Cause he should really know what that
John
is.
Doe.
And they call you Jack for short. You're a regular Captain Nemo.
A name means nothing on the battlefield. After a week, no one has a name. What's your name?
Jane Doe.
Means nothing.
Very
What's your name?
funny.
I wasn't joking, but I'll tell you my name only if you manage to make it back alive. My
It's
frequency
Dr.
is
Clark.
145.73.
She's also in charge of recording your mission data. Whenever you want to save, send a message over the reserved save frequency. 140.96.
So saving lets me
I
record
feel like
my
we're gonna
mission
get her
data.
ass kicked on this
That's
difficulty.
right. It also records the state of your health.
Good to know.
There's one more person I want to introduce you to, Snake. Speaking of snakes, you remember the boss, don't you? A legendary soldier and your mentor. Actually, it was
No,
the
I
boss
don't
that got
remember
the
her.
DCI's authorization in the first place. She's going to be serving as Fox's mission advisor.
Boss is?
She also helped me plan this mission.
Is she the
She
one
and
that
I were
advised me to
at
come in
SAS
without
together.
weapons?
Jack, is that you? How many years has it been?
Boss?
That's right. It's me.
Get her info.
Talk to me. Let me hear your voice.
Good info.
It's been 5 years, 72 days, and 18 hours.
You've lost weight.
You can tell just by the sound of my voice.
Of course I can. I know all about you.
God, the boss is so cool.
Well, I don't know anything about you.
What's that supposed to
How
mean?
did the same person who
Why'd you
created the boss
disappear on me
create
all of a
Quiet?
sudden?
I was on a top secret mission. You didn't need me anymore.
But there were still so many things I wanted you to teach me.
No, I taught you
Mother.
everything you needed to know about fighting techniques. I taught you all I could. The rest you needed to learn on your own.
Techniques, sure. But what about how to think like a soldier?
How to think like a soldier? I can't teach you that. A soldier needs to be strong in spirit, body, and technique. And the only thing you can learn from someone else is technique. In fact, technique doesn't even matter. What's most important is spirit. Spirit and body are like two sides of a single coin. They're the same thing. I can't teach you how to think. You'll just have to figure it out for yourself. Listen to me, Jack.
I refuse.
Just because soldiers are on the same side right now doesn't mean they always will be. Having personal feelings about your comrades is one of the worst sins you can commit. Politics determine who you face.
Man,
on the
I have taken
battlefield.
20 steps
And
into this
politics
mission.
are a living thing. They change along with the times. Yesterday's good might be tomorrow's evil.
Is that
People are already
meant to be?
monologuing at me.
No, it had nothing to do with you. I already told you, Jack. I was on a top secret mission. A soldier has to follow whatever orders he's given. It's not his place to question why. But you're looking for a reason to fight. You're a natural-born fighter, but you're not quite a soldier. A
Not
soldier
quite
is
a
political
woman.
tool, nothing more. That's doubly true if he's a career soldier. Right and wrong have no place in his mission. He has no enemies and no friends. Only
Voiced
the
by
mission.
Diane Simmons from
You follow
Family
the
Guy
orders you're given.
and Pearl from
That's what being a
SpongeBob.
soldier is.
And it's all I'm thinking
I do
about.
whatever I have to get the job done. I don't think about politics.
That's not the same thing. Sooner or later, your conscience is going to bother you. In the end, you have to choose whether you're going to live as a soldier or just another man with a gun. There's a saying in the Orient, loyalty to the
In
end.
the Orient.
Do you know what it means?
Was the 60s.
Patriotic.
It means devoting yourself to your country.
I follow the president and the top brass. I'm ready to die for them if necessary.
I'm so free,
President
girl.
and the top brass won't be there forever. Once their terms are up, others will take their place.
I follow the will of the leader, no matter who's in charge.
People aren't the ones who
I wonder what
dictate
Snake's arc is going to be in this
Then
game.
who does?
the times. People's values change over time, and so do the leaders of a country. So there's no such thing as an enemy in absolute terms. The enemies we fight are only enemies in relative terms.
Except for Ocelot.
Constantly changing with the times.
Guy's an asshole.
As long as we have loyalty to the end, there's no point in believing in anything, even in those we love.
And that's the way a soldier's supposed to think?
The only thing we can believe in with absolute certainty is the mission, Jack.
All right, but do me a favor.
What is it?
Call me Snake.
Snake. Oh, right. Your codename is Snake.
Girl, you're the
It suits
mission
you well.
advisor.
That's right. The legendary unit
You should
that
know
the boss
this.
put together during World War II was a snake. The Cobra unit, a group of heroes that brought the war to an end and saved the world.
The pain is a
Once
real
you've got
hero.
Legendary hero backing you up, you'll be fine. Isn't
The
that right,
fear
Snake?
is a hero.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else I'd rather have with me. Oh, and one more thing, boss.
Yes,
It's good to hear your voice again.
same here. After all, who knows if either of us will make it out alive? Snake, you were
Oh,
always
I have a
best at
feeling one
urban
of us
warfare
won't.
and infiltrating buildings. But this is the jungle. Survival is going to be key. Those CQC techniques I taught you are sure to come in handy.
CQC? Close quarters combat, huh? I've been in the Green Berets for the past few years. I'm probably pretty rusty.
Not to worry. I'll be here to help you remember. After all, this is your first actual survival mission. I'll be supporting you over the radio.
Where are you, boss? Next to the Major?
The boss is communicating with us by radio from aboard a Permit-class submarine.
Snake, you were in the plane with us. You know she wasn't there.
My frequency is 141.80. Call me if you need my advice on battle techniques.
Gotcha.
Your mission is to retrieve Dr. Sokolov. Dr. Sokolov is being held in an abandoned factory located to the north of your current position. Avoid heavy combat and don't let anyone see you. Don't forget that this is a stealth mission.
I know, you keep telling me.
Snake, try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
I'm a little afraid to do that, because I think some of them had, like, context-sensitive buttons, pressure-sensitive. So I don't remember if I'm gonna fuck that up or not. We'll find out. It'll be fun.
Commencing virtuous mission now.
Now.